A speech delivered by a white slaveholder on the banks of the James River in 1712, 68 years before our former slave masters permitted us to join the Christian faith. Listen to what he said. He said, quote, "In my bag, I have a foolproof method of controlling black slaves. I guarantee every one of you, if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and I make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes." I want you to listen. What are those three things? Fear, envy, distrust. For what purpose? Control. To control who? The slave. Who is the slave? Us. Listen. He said, "These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and they will work throughout the South." Now, take this simple little list and think about it. On the top of my list is age, but it's only there because it starts with an A, and the second is color or shade. There's intelligence, sex, size of plantation, status of plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley or on a hill, north, east, south, or west, have fine hair or coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry it on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years. Now don't forget, you must pitch the old black male against the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the female against the male, and you must use the male against the female. You must use the dark-skinned slave against the light-skinned slave, and the light-skinned slave against the dark-skinned slave. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these keys are your keys to control. Use them. Never miss an opportunity. And if used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. End of quote. So spoke Willie Lynch 283 years ago. And so as a consequence, we as a people now have been fractured, divided, and destroyed, filled with fear, distrust, and envy. Therefore, because of fear, envy, and distrust of one another, many of us as leaders, teachers, educators, pastors, and persons are still under the control mechanism of our former slave masters and their children. And now, in spite of all that division, in spite of all that divisiveness, we responded to a call. And look at what is present here today. We have here those brothers with means and those who have no means, those who are light and those who are dark, those who are educated, those who are uneducated, those who are business people, those who don't know anything about business, those who are young, those who are old, those who are scientific, those who know nothing of science, those who are religious and those who are irreligious, those who are Christian, those who are Muslim, those who are Baptist, those who are Methodist, those who are Episcopalian, those of traditional African religion. We got them all here today.
Go ahead, brother.
And why did we come? We came because we want to move perfect union. And if you notice, the press triggered every one of those divisions. You shouldn't come, you're a Christian, that's a Muslim thing. You shouldn't come, you're too intelligent to follow hate. You shouldn't come. Look at what they did. They excluded women, you see? They played all the cards. They pulled all the strings. Oh, but you better look again, Willie. There's a new black man in America today. A new black woman in America today. Now, brothers, there's a social benefit of our gathering here today, and that is that from this day forward, we can never again see ourselves through the narrow eyes of the limitation of the boundaries of our own fraternal, civic, political, religious, street organization, or professional organization. We are forced by the magnitude of what we see here today, that whenever you return to your cities and you see a black man, a black woman, don't ask him what is your social, political, or religious affiliation, or what is your status. Know that he is your brother, and if he needs help, you are obligated to help your brother because he is your brother. You must live beyond the narrow restrictions of the divisions that have been imposed upon us. Well, some of us are here because it's history making. Some of us are here because it's a march through which we can express anger and rage with America for what she has and is doing to us. So we're here for many reasons, but the basic reason that this was called was for atonement and reconciliation. So it is necessary for me, in as short a time as possible, to give as full an explanation of atonement as possible. As I said earlier, atonement is the 5th stage in an 8-stage process. So let's go back to the first stage of the process that brings us into perfect union with God.
Greetings, listeners. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God. Welcome to the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM on this Saturday morning. I am Brother David Muhammad, and I'm going to be in studio with you up to 9 o'clock. And in a short while from now, I will open up the telephone lines and take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. You can also send messages directly to me on WhatsApp on 332-0214. And we're also live on the Facebook page and YouTube channel of the Street 919 FM. Beloved family, I want to start off today. So many things to talk about as always, but I want to pay tribute to our woman. I want to pay tribute to the black woman, because what has been happening with this wave of crimes committed against our sisters is always a bad reflection on our brothers. This has happened before, where you get a sequence of these horrific criminal deeds against our women in quick and swift succession. Yes, we know that generally, for the most part, crimes are always being committed, but when it comes with a cadence, one after the other, after another, after another, it speaks to the society. And while, of course, it sends a message to the woman, it also sends a message to the men. And from time to time, and you know, when I check back on my own files of radio and television programs that I would have done over the years, from time to time, you see, we bring up this topic in response to a wave that would have taken place maybe a year and a half ago, and then another wave that would have taken place about 2 years before that, then another wave that would have taken place about a year before that. So it seems to be coming in sets of these kinds of cases, but now it is saying something about our men. And how bad some of our bad men are speaks to the responsibility of some of our good men to be their brother's keeper. In one hadith, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "You must help your brother." He was talking about leadership. He said, "You must help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or whether he is oppressed." Think about that. And then one of the companions asked the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Dear Apostle, are you saying that even if my brother is an oppressor, that I should still help him?" And the Prophet said, "Yes. Help him by stopping him from oppressing people." Brothers, let me ask you, what kinds of conversations, this is very personal, this is me to you here, what kinds of conversations do you entertain about women? Because we have this very negative culture within our society where men would get together in groups and objectify, degrade, disrespect women. And there's a kind of peer pressure within that social circle to either add something to the conversation, endorse or condone what is being said, or even laugh at it in a way that suggests agreement. Brothers, I'm asking you, when you're in a circle like that, I'd imagine sometimes there might be alcohol involved, but 3 or 4 or 5 men are in a circle and a conversation about women comes up, and how much of that do you condone when things like that happen? That's a question for us to ask ourselves. Or are you man enough to say in such a situation, wait, brother, hold up. What's up with that? What are you, an animal? But you have to, was your mother not a woman too? How could you feel so comfortable speaking about our sisters like that, in particular the black woman? And I'm saying to you, go to hell if you want to tell me, oh, why are you bringing race to that? Go to hell now, I'm telling you. Because what the black woman went through, before you want to condemn me for paying tribute to the black woman, go to all of the Jews and tell them to forget the Holocaust. Go and do that first before you tell me not to pay tribute to the black woman. And I could give you a list of 17 countries, and hear this, I'll even make a deal with you. I will pay for your ticket to go to one of those 17 countries and tell the Jews to forget about the Holocaust, and you will end up in jail. You will go to jail in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, in Greece, in Hungary, in Belgium, in Israel. If you go in those countries and openly, publicly declare that the Jewish Holocaust should be forgotten about or denied, you will instantly become a criminal. So don't tell me not to pay tribute to the black woman. Don't. But coming back to our brothers, I'm asking you, are you man enough in conversations like that to put a stop to the objectification of our woman? You see, you might think that someone who entertains a conversation like that is innocent in this context based on what our conversation is about. I'm saying no, because all of that is planting seeds. Next question. How do you raise the young men under your care and direction or mentorship? How do you raise them regarding values surrounding our women? Do you encourage that degree of disrespect? How do you train the young men regarding respect for women? Every secondary school that I go into, I say to the whole school populations, I said, young boys, the worst thing that you can do as a young male is to hit or beat a girl or a woman. So because when you do that, all you're doing is exposing yourself as not being a real man. Men who are violent against women only highlight the void or the vacuum in their own manhood and masculinity. And let me tell you something. Because this hasn't really happened in a while, but if you come into my office and you're sitting down on the desk opposite me and you come to have a conversation about this and that comes up and you try to justify it, I will throw your ass out. I'm telling you. I can understand if there's a problem, and I'm here to help in whatever way I can. But that comes up in a conversation and you try to make an excuse for it and say, oh no, well, the reason that I'm violent against it is because, oh no, you see, you don't understand. She did this, or I will throw you out personally, physically. I'm not joking. Try it. What kind of seeds are we planting in the minds of our young men regarding respect for our women? I call for Islamic law. And so many of us in a society like this, when things might appear to be normal, when the conversation of Islamic law comes up, well, we could say this and we could say that, but it's at times like this, some of those who hate Islam will say, yeah, we need Islamic law. In one of the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it was said that a man committed a rape. And so the brothers went out looking for him. And when they found him, he was bleeding by the side of a river. What do you think happened? He castrated himself because he knew it would have been worse when they found him and did it for him. And our beloved Imam Yasin Abu Bakr used to tell that hadith. Our women in many ways have been the leaders within our society through many generations, even though they have been denied the credit for such, because of them not being given the official status in most aspects of social life. It has been our women who have been more present for the children in the families than the men. Our females have excelled above the males in academic performance in the school system and even in the realm of economics. Equal pay, regardless of gender, has remained a global struggle. But the black woman in particular has faced the compounded oppression of racism merged with sexism and degradation. And this makes the struggle of the black woman, along with the 400-year history of torture, even more difficult than the struggle of the black man in many respects. Many of our societal problems begin in childhood. And while problems with boys in the school system often include bullying, violence, drug abuse, and other issues, the most noted problems with girls in the school system aren't usually linked to drug abuse, alcoholism, bullying, and violence, but to sexuality and promiscuity, along with school fights. The relationship between boys and girls, and by extension men and women, has either a direct or indirect impact on the behavior of males. And for many years, we have been hearing concerns voiced about girls performing way better than boys at just about all levels within the educational system. But it's as if there's an elephant in the room regarding how we respond to the two different performances of boys and girls. In Trinidad and Tobago, on the primary, secondary, and tertiary levels, girls achieve more of the top spots and high scores in test results, and they also occupy more places within our tertiary level institutions, such as the University of the West Indies and the University of Trinidad and Tobago. There are some classes that you go into, if there are 40 students, sometimes 30 of them are women. Research shows that girls tend to perform better than boys in countries where they have equal access to the school system, irrespective of the income level. In countries where girls are disadvantaged on terms of access, gender differences are generally small or insignificant, implying that girls do not usually underperform even when they are under-participating. Girls are usually more confident and perform better in reading compared to boys. The gender differences are usually not high in performance in mathematics, but girls feel less confident at performing well against boys in math. A major issue with our sisters, though, is the question of image and how society portrays them as opposed to who and what they really are. Sister Ava Muhammad said, quote, "When I reflect on black women and images, the first thing that enters my mind is the portrayal of them through media images as self-hating, angry, miserable, and vindictive. All of those characterizations are fictitious and derive from Western America's foundation of white supremacy." She went on to explain, society's portrayals of black women fall into one of three categories. One, an oversexed woman on display and in search of loveless trust with males. Two, a step above a dog or a cat, focused on physical assets alone, such as hair, makeup, and tight clothes. Or three, as an obese, miserable, angry, unattractive, manless female who thus hates the world. Dr. Julianne Malvo, president of the Bennett College for Women in Greensboro, North Carolina, said, quote, "The genesis of negative images is as old as black women's history. They used to have the human zoos of black women in Europe. The Hottentot Venus, Sarah Bartman, A black woman who was paraded through the streets of Europe in the 1800s, put in cages for white people to come and see. This was alongside our enslavement. If you dehumanize in some ways the woman, you dehumanize the race. So, beloved, such an enormous chunk of our entertainment content is centered around degrading and objectifying our women. And when the young men are brought up under that culture, they also subconsciously do not see the worth and the value of our women. And this here is a guilty society for that. This dehumanization reared its head when they used to attempt to caricature the first lady of the United States, wife of President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama. The images can be reversed when black women who have awakened to their true consciousness grow in numbers, create their own images, and avoid what their enemy tells them they should be. The promotion of negative images of our sisters can have also possibly contributed to them being treated harshly by the already racist justice system. You had the case of Charlene Michelle Cooks on May 29, 2015, a pregnant black woman who was wrestled to the ground, handcuffed, and arrested by a white policeman in Barstow, California. The incident was caught on the officer's body camera and was believed to be racially motivated. You had the case of Sandra Bland, 28 years old, who was found dead hanging in a jail cell in Texas on July 13, 2015, after being pulled over for a minor traffic offense 3 days earlier. And then Sharonda Jones, who was serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole at the Carswell Federal Prison in Texas. Life without the possibility of parole is the second harshest sentence that the justice system can mete out, short only after the death penalty. But what did she do? Sharonda Jones was convicted of a single non-violent drug offense involving crack cocaine. She was a drug mule. She was transporting it. And the conviction stemmed from her first ever arrest. And she was not even caught with the drugs in her possession. But she was convicted based on the testimony of two white government informants who themselves were facing draconian sentences. This is cumulative over time, building up a negative image of our women who have carried us through that entire Black Holocaust period. And now it's like this cancer is beginning to affect the minds of black men when they look at the black woman. No, if when you think of the black woman, you're thinking in that way, cleanse yourself of those thoughts. Because you all are so quick to shout down issues like vigilante justice. But I'm saying to you, beloved, if this kind of thing continues, you will begin to see people reacting. And you know what? There have been, within not too long ago, matters being taken into the hands of citizens when it comes to issues like that, especially the rape of our little girls. Come on. No, family. No. So if this continues to happen, there has to be an upgraded reaction. No, there has to be a swifter response. These men who commit these kinds of acts must be held publicly beaten and executed. That's what I said. Executed. Or you say, Brother David, you're a Muslim. How could you say that? Well, I'm saying that because I'm a Muslim. Read Surah 33 from verse 59 in the Quran. Now, it tells the men, it starts off telling the men. And I know a lot of you are really not into this because I know that so many of you, especially our men, are gravitating towards the thinking of the whole LGBTQ kind of mentality where you're removing the reality of gender from humanity, period, and are trying to promote a genderless kind of thinking, which is destroying many aspects of our society. And I know a lot of you have bought into that. But Allah says in the Quran that, first of all, the men have the responsibility to caution the woman, appeal to the woman, and this, of course, would be a case of the father to the daughter relationship. Your daughter is 13 or 14 or 15, 16, 17 years old. Right. Of course, the mother is the role model, but the father also has to give that encouragement to the daughter. You know, you are beautiful. So dress yourself modestly. Lower your gaze, etc. This is mandated for a Muslim father. But the next verse says, in speaking of those who commit these acts against women, Allah, God, in the Quran says, referring to them as the agitators in the city, it says, and if they do not desist, hold them, seize them, and murder them with a horrible murdering. That is in the book of God for the Muslims, the Holy Quran. That when men commit crimes like this, they should be seized and killed publicly. And then it won't be happening in waves like how it's happening now. All right, well, let me open up the telephone lines here. 3420081 and 4665391. Caller, good morning. Hold on a second. Caller, go ahead.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Right, I'm hearing you as well.
All right.
I want to say good morning to all the African people around the Caribbean and the wider world as well. But what you're saying this morning is true. Because that sister being murdered in Maracas and Joseph up there, that I listened that did it caught the person who did it? I think the whole some grave digger or something, so it was a Venezuelan, and he said he get a job to dig some grave or something, so but I didn't follow up anything after that, but I follow up the news. I think they mentioned something about I don't know if it's the same thing, but they mentioned some young lady was buried and the murderer walked free or something, so I don't know if it's the same story. But anyhow, what you are saying this morning is true. And I think these men need to be dealt with because, let me show you something. How all women is being taken advantage of, not only by these group of people or these men who maybe carrying a certain amount of, I don't know how to put it, but I believe this is happening on the ground right now. It have a lot of young men. The lives turn into crime, toting gun, robbing people, whatever. The women, on the other hand, they look to uprise themselves by education, go to Acosta and all these different places, university, they upgrade themselves, they turn nurses, they turn doctors, whatever. On the other hand, the young men who with these women and them, when they see what is happening, sometimes the women and them might find out, sometimes the women put themselves with these young fellas not knowing what life they're into. And when they discover what life they're really into, the woman in them does not want that. So these men in them just figure like they're only women in them. In some cases, they may threaten the woman in them, say, look, we earn you all, you cannot leave us, otherwise we will kill you. You hear that from time to time. That women are afraid to leave men because of threats. Like these. You understand? And when these women and them decide to go forward with their life through education, these men and them, when these women and them realize what is going on, they want to walk away from the relationship. These men intend to put them to sleep because of maybe envy and all that. You understand? Things like, we think you're better than me, you're leaving me, so you kill them.
And we had a case some time ago of a young sister who was furthering her education, and she had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend burnt her books, burnt her school books, because he felt, well, look, if she gets educated, she will move on and leave me, because he wasn't doing much with his life.
Exactly.
So he felt that the way to better himself was to try to pull her down in the pit with him.
Exactly.
And the thing is that, it's books, but that's a sign. That's a sign. You don't want to stay with him after a case like that.
And let me show you something. It goes further, even with the government. Because let me show you something. My wife is a nurse, right? I do construction work. But no time at all I carry any envy for that, because why should I? But this year, my wife signed up for the tax return and all that. They tax their salary, all the nurses, the doctors, and all the clerical workers. They tax them very heavy, like $2,000 a month. Sign up for tax return. The tax return came back, $9. The ministers in them, their salary are tax-free. They go to buy a car, tax-free. And that's why I believe the tax system in Trinidad, it is not fair. They need tax is good, but I have to do it the right way and the proper way. You understand? They go into the parliament to debate the property tax and all that. Do it the right way. You understand? One thing I will side with the opposition war. You see this tax thing, do it the right way. You understand? Because all them care. Some people will call in the station and say, "Yes, the government tax around the country, government tax around the country." They must have done good. And listen and read up or go through the constitution and whatever on tax in Trinidad and Tobago concerning these politicians and certain businessmen and all that, right? Especially the politicians and them. Politicians live off the poor. All the wealth is from the poor. The salary is from the poor. What they buy expensive vehicle for $1 million tax-free is of the poor. You understand? And yet still poor people will come and say, yes, the government is doing the right thing by bringing back this property tax. You understand? It has some countries have less wealth than Trinidad and Tobago. And the citizens don't pay tax. I can name one, Dubai. The revenue for the year, you understand, to run the economy is half the revenue of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad budget for the year that be all $60 billion. Dubai budget that be all $34 billion for the year.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, caller. (342-0081-466-5391). We have a break coming up in a short while. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mohammed.
Yes, good morning.
What I take from what you have said so far is the value of the death penalty, of course, applied to other things, crimes generally, more so murder. But whenever you call for the death penalty, not only you have intellectuals, lawyers defending the cause and saying that the death penalty is not a deterrent. If it's not a deterrent, it's too barbaric, it's harsh.
Lord. Well, people who say that don't believe in retribution.
Well, I would say that they don't understand retribution, because they do believe retribution.
Because retribution is just one component of justice.
The way they believe retribution is the wrong way, because they think retribution is a slap on the wrist. You know, put them in jail for a short time or rehabilitate them, and they have all sorts of nonsense that doesn't actually work. So, but yeah, now they would think that being crimes for rape and things like that is too harsh.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
They say Georgia them causing plenty bacchanal in the place early Christmas morning. Christmas morning. A man and the wife end up in a fight, cause out left and right the man feel she horning. She horning. He tells she do darling, it's Christmas time. You bring me gift from your heart, I bring from mine. Anything you want, honey, I will spare a dime. Tell me what you want for Christmas. Tell me what you want for Christmas. She said, I want clothes, I want shoes. Don't pick up nothing. Christmas morning. Christmas morning. People want to know what causing it wrong, whether it's issue or a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. The man make up to his wife and apologize. Gonna make she breakfast as a surprise. Wifey meet him in the kitchen as soon as he rise. He said like an angel send you, tell me what you want on the menu. She said, I want hops, I want ham, I want sorrel, I want jam, I want turkey, I want man. The man say, I fed up here about this I want man, but I let him marry to you. Oh, Christmas morning, I want how your name calling. So I want this, yes, I want that. I want this and I want that. You bring your ham and sorrel, we bring the shak shak and quattro. I want this and I want that. I want this and I want that. What you want? 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 Ayo. Baila. Spara. They say George your cousin too much of bacchanal in the place. They say George your cousin too much of bacchanal in the land. They say George your cousin too much of bacchanal in the house. They say George your cousin too much of bacchanal in the street. Early Christmas morning. Christmas morning. Baila. Spara. Iwer.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282 or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's clarity, no matter what angle you look at. It's comfort, no matter what you do all day, every day. And it's customized, with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Apex Digital Lenses by Value Optical, the ultimate lens design for your eyes. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
From the studio to the stage, every Friday between 3 to 4 p.m. Right here on the street, 919 FM. Radio you can see. Log on to our Facebook and YouTube so you can see live interviews and performances from some of our very own local superstars. Right here on the street, 919 FM.
The Street 919 FM is bringing the Christmas spirit right into your homes vehicles, and on your mobile phones like never before. Hey, Christmas time with the best Soca Parang mix. Yes, join this exciting segment, Parang Soca Fever, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 9:45 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 6:45 p.m. until Christmas.
This is Christmas, so about Merry Christmas.
Right here on your favorite Christmas station, The Street 919 FM.
This is Christmas, as we dream of Christmas.
Sponsored by Shandy and Royal Castle. Our culture, our taste.
Welcome the Christmas holidays this year with quality and attractive furniture from Stylus Furniture Limited. 2 locations, 51 Rushwood Street, San Fernando, and 101 Crackness Village in Princestown. Select from a wide range of contemporary furniture to enhance your homes. Now open on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call today, 652-2542. Season's greetings to all our customers and friends from Stylus Furniture Limited. Stylus Furniture Limited. For this time in you.
Better vision for your physical eyes, and through the eyes of faith, let healing arise in your mind, body, and spirit. At Natural Healing Ministries, we teach kingdom principles for living that brings the blessing of God to your mind, body, and soul.
NHM Professional Associates are located at number 10 Moody Stewart Street, Monterey Post, San Fernando. For more info, contact Dr. Desmond Phillip at NHM on 349-3494.
NHM Professional Associates can be heard live on the Street 919 FM every Saturday from 9:05 to 9:55 a.m.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
After all the talk during the week, don't switch off on the weekend and keep it on the street. It's classic soca and classic kaiso when you're liming with the live wire on Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m. only on the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen. So there's a need for brotherhood. Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen. Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen. Brotherhood is demanded. Black man get up, black man stand up, black man you better listen. Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential, it is urgent, and it is compulsory. But the time demands brotherhood.
Tomorrow we resume our Nation of Islam weekly lecture series. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has mandated that Nation of Islam groups all over the world resume public meetings on November 14th, which is tomorrow. So from tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., our Nation of Islam public meetings will be opened back up to the public once again at the Kwame Ture Center. Of course, we will be using the main auditorium and we will be at 25% capacity. Also, for this African History Month, we have African Expo number 10 coming up. That's Saturday, November the 27th. Now, let me just make one thing clear before we go back to the phone lines. I am proposing Islamic law in the treatment and punishment of men who commit violent, fatal crimes against our women. This is a definite remedy for the mental sickness of those individuals who feel that they can be so brutal against our women and commit these heinous acts and get away with it. According to the Express newspaper, February 24, 2016, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Victims and Witness Support Unit stated that more than 300 women have been murdered as a result of domestic violence in the period 2005 to 2015 in Trinidad and Tobago. These kinds of occurrences tend to go and come in waves. So every year or so, we have a series of events when men rape and kill and brutally murder women, and then it's like a cycle that passes without ever any definite reinforcement of law and harsh public punishment against the men who do these things. Another article in the Express, February 8th, 2012. Listen to the headline of this. It says, boy, 5 years old, accused of molesting girl 5 years old. And it explained that the police were investigating this incident at a San Fernando primary school where the girl said the boy approached her in the washroom and assaulted her. She kicked him and he ran away. Now, that is where it starts. And if we don't grow up our young men respecting women, and they think that they can get away with those kinds of acts from such an early age, it will be consequential later on in the future. And in the Holy Quran, the book of scripture of the Muslims, in Surah 33, from verse 59, it warns the men, first cautioning the fathers to warn your daughters about the way you dress, about going out into public, being safe. But then it says to the men, in regards to those who commit these heinous crimes against women, calling them the agitators in the city, it says, if they do not desist with those crimes, seize them, hold them, and kill them with a horrible murdering. Only in that way will a message be sent out publicly to those scoundrels who are sick in their minds, who think that they can do this and repeat their acts and continue to get away with it. Islamic law will put a stop to that. So if 300 women were killed in a 10-year period, and 6 years has passed from that time to now, we need to ensure that we put in check limits on these persistent trends that are taking place. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, are you there?
Brother David, morning. How are you?
Yes, good morning.
You know this voice?
Hopefully I'll recognize it in a bit.
the lady with the necklace that I have for you for a long time, I'm ready to give you. I might have to put a gold chain around it. You see what's happening to me, huh? I drew myself to the radio every Saturday to listen to you because, as I said, you are so brilliant. What I love hearing this morning is how you are appealing to women to educate yourselves, people. Brother David know what he said. Educate yourself. Brother David, I think I told you I'm 73. My husband is 75. Wow. I did try to educate myself, but I did not reach university like my daughter did. So I'm glad she's heading in the right direction. I love when you send out that message. Brother David, you know, I want to come down to that only to a center, but it's my husband and myself alone. He's 75 and he's bedbound now. He can't walk and he can hardly talk. People telling me to put him in a home, take him to the hospital. But I feel I have caregiving qualities. I've been a caregiver for more than 10 years. But I choose where I go and things like that. So I am here working on him. I'm looking forward to joining Brother Angina Philip and her husband.
Oh, yes.
Because they talk about a great program that they have in mind, and I will never give up. As soon as I can spare the time, I will be with you with them down there because education is the key. And the more people who can get into caregiving to help people, not only thinking about the money, you see the money aspect of caregiving. No. Just think about love and making these people feel happy until the last days of their lives. Because no one knows when the Lord will call you. No one knows what tomorrow will bring. And this is what is happening to me now. I used to be all over the place in Trinidad and Tobago. I visited about 10 countries. I started with Canada, went down to Miami, British Columbia, Mexico, Tijuana. I saw half of the world because my husband he allowed me to go. We married 50 years. He allowed me to go wherever I wanted to go. I had a good life. But now I feel I should give my all to him. And I am trying my best. So I want people out there to get into the caregiving aspect of life. Let's help one another.
Lovely.
I'm talking to you as I'm a bit tired, but I know by the time I'm finished and I eat some breakfast, I'll be on my feet again to look after him. And every time he gets up, he told Merlin, I need you. And I love that because we had separated lives for many, many years. And now I enjoy the fact that he calls me every morning to be close to him. Thank you in the name of Jesus. I won't ever miss your program unless something is wrong with the electricity or something. But I love hearing you, and I am glad that you are out there for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
God bless everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Wow. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Brother David Mohammed.
Good morning to you.
Brother David Mohammed, the guy that gets killed, that gets shot, he from down by me. I'm an officer. I thought we grew up together as brothers.
Which one is this? Which one is this?
The guy that gets shot in New Grant.
The family issue?
It looked like his family issue. The wife, brother, had issues now, and probably like Mom didn't like him or to the fact that we were hearing.
Right.
You know? Or you see, listen to me, we grew up together, all of us grew up together as like a brothers and family in the same neighborhood in St. Martin. See, that person like this, he always make joke, he always kicks me down straight now. If you see you doing something wrong, he will pull up on you and say, hey, you're doing something wrong straight now. That was the kind of person he was. I'm older than him. But if you see me going wrong, he will talk to me and say, hey, Dave, I don't like so and so. That's how he was. When I hear he get shot, I say, what this man could do? Everybody, but at the very moment, the whole of St. Martin come out. The policeman was coming up and say, This man touched the old, the young, and the mix. It means to say that this will live a life which not always pleasant, always smiling, or like he will drink and thing, but he always one way all the time. And I talked to some youths from right in my neighborhood. I said, listen to me. I said, you see what this fella do? He touched the heart of all young, old, and not so young. It means to tell you, live good, always listen to your parents, and have respect for your elders. You know? I mean, all of us have to die, but if we do these things, as God say, honor your father and your mother, that they're going to be long in the land, like that promise God give us. And then we stray from that, we go downhill. You know? So I say, remember to let you know that there at the moment, the man touched everybody in St. Marlin. It was a big funeral. You know?
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know?
Beloved brother.
Okay, then have a nice day.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Brother David.
Port of Spain. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I always do listen, you know, but I just can't get in.
Yeah, I understand.
I always listening. And I'm glad you touched this thing with the females that is being killed.
Yeah. And I want to send out condolences to the family of Brother Harvey Boris as well. That was his niece or grandniece. He was her great uncle, I understand.
Which one?
The sister who was found dead
in Maracas, St. Joseph?
Yes, I believe it was Maracas, St. Joseph. I have the news clip here.
Oh.
Yeah. But go ahead though.
Well, I am going to send my deepest condolences to Harvey Boris.
Yeah.
And the loss of his niece. We all know Harvey Boris, and it's famous from I Love My Country.
Yeah.
So this morning, brother, we all extend our deepest condolences. Brother David, you know, I listen to what you are saying about the disrespect when it starts just how you say it. And then too, you know, at times, I wonder whether or not people who are politicians, if they really respect our women in this country. When I heard one some weeks ago describing, the President of Trinidad and Tobago, Excellency, I said, Lord, you mean to say we're going and that distant boy? It can't be. This is all when the youth hear people saying these things, they grow, just as you said, you first get away with this and you could get away with anything. And I love how you negated that thought, you know, and I wish that we could have laws that could really come down on them at the Islamic world, deal with them immediately when they commit this heinous crime. Get rid of them. So, Brother David, I don't want to keep back anybody else. We have a lot of calls that be coming through. And this morning, I would say God bless you too. And you continue in this vein. Yet, we have to deal with these people and them. Very, very early. Don't let them get the rings to run about. Put them early. Thank you very much, Brother David. And again, condolences to our brother niece, Harvey Bowen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Port of Spain. Her name was Kazia Janika Guerra. She was 26 years old, and her body was found on November the 4th. And the police have stated that she may have been killed by a man who wanted to have a relationship with her. Sick. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. David Mohammed.
Good morning to you, sir.
I am a concerned citizen. What's going on in the country? You have a very good program, and you're the only man that brings things to light and the truth and things. But Mr. David Mohammed, we have a crisis on we hand here, and like everybody just pushing it under the bush. Nobody really talking about it. What happened is that people lost in their job under this COVID thing that the Prime Minister is pushing, and people is coming to me and telling me they have 25 years service and work. I don't know if you could do something about it, because they're saying now under the pandemic you can't do nothing about it. People is being forced to take the vaccine, and the ones who don't want to take the vaccine lost in their 25 years service, and they're sending them home with nothing. This cannot be right, Mr. David Mohammed. Somebody needs to do something about this.
Yeah, that is a terrible situation. That is a terrible, unjust situation. But I'll say
yes,
this to you.
This is very unjust, Mr. David Mohammed. They give me my right money because they couldn't do me that. They give me my right money and send me home. Yeah. And I get 400,000. They can't do me that because they know I will have to off. So they promise I am talking on behalf of the people. Our Prime Minister is doing us for wickedness. I have somebody in government is telling me he's forcing private companies and forcing the private companies and other workplace for people to take the vaccine. And if they don't want to take the vaccine, they have to stay home. And this sister have 25 years service in the corporation, and they are telling the sister they're not firing she, but she go have to stay home until she take the vaccine. And this is fired. And this can't be right. Mr. David Mohammed, somebody needs to do something before the country explode. Because I notice everybody pushing it under the cover, and they're only talking about biscuit and cheese on the radio, and they're talking about the commissioner of police. The commissioner of police still getting his 50,000 a month. Miss Kamala, the sister, still getting she 50,000 a month. And we have a crisis here, and everybody just pushing this under the bush. Mr. David, I don't know if you could do something, but I tell she go to a lawyer, and they tell she, the lawyer tells she, the union even tells she, the union can't do nothing, they say, because they say it's under a crisis, under a pandemic. You can't do nothing. The government could send you home. Just so that can't be right.
All right. So I'm going to give, thank you. Thanks for calling. I'm going to give a phone number.
Yeah.
I want you to take down, because to be honest, we haven't been entertaining these conversations on this radio station, but outside of that. But there's a brother you can contact who has a team of legal and other persons put together dealing with these matters. His name is Brother Lyndon Mack, and his number is 484-9098. 484-9098. Caller, good morning.
A blessed morning, Brother David.
Same to you, sir.
Now, we discussing moment on let me say the sorrowful part, the achieving part. We hardly does speak about it, but when these issues come about murders about women, we make sure that we also incorporate the achievements of women, if you understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But you made a point about the woman in cage, what happening in slavery time. But
the human zoos. And it's taking place today in a different kind of dimension.
That is still how they still portraying us.
But now it's called entertainment.
Yes, of course. And beauty pageant and favors are showing you, making sure that they expose themselves. You understand? The integrity of women have never been appreciated by men. If you understand what I'm saying here. This is how I put it over. Because a man would always respect a woman, knowing that she is the life giver, or the human carry-on process in giving birth to babies, whether it be man or woman. You understand what I'm saying? So that what we must do is to make sure that we put the women on that pedestal that we do not want to put them, and instead of having them under us on our footstool, let them be on that same level that we treat ourselves to the women. And it isn't only happening in Trinidad and Tobago. I always like to speak about the African diaspora and African itself. And in Africa also, we see that the women being the householders, because most of the time you see women in the agriculture mining this and mining that and the other, and they still have to be home cooking for the children in Africa. So what we are doing is that we have them as come, go and do this and do that, instead of having them like, what would you like and what would I like to see you have? If you was watching you, Brother David. And until we have that kind of mindset to women, I think that we'll always be speaking about them when they are being murdered or abused, and instead of having their achievement in the forefront than these abusive men who are taking advantage of women. I call on all those men to really stop and think before they do the next act. Thank you very much, Brother David.
Thank you, my brother. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you this morning, sir?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm great as well, sir. Glad to be alive as you are. I'm glad to hear the topic this morning.
Yes, sir.
I've been looking at an Islamic African country probably yesterday, before yesterday. Took a law to the parliament to not make gays, to make gays illegal. If you are found to be a gay, there is some prison sentence could be suspended on you. And the world is telling this country that they are going mad. And part of the reason that we have what we have is part of that. Because men now believe that they can take up the role of a female. And that is where our society, Superman has now gotten a boyfriend, or the grandson of Superman. So our society is changing. So that is why we have no respect now, and the respect for females has gotten worse. Because a man believes that he could take up the role of a female. I could wash, I could cook, I could put on a pair of chests, I could change my private parts. And the only thing he can do, that God didn't give him the ability to do, is to appropriate to make another one with a man. And so until we, as men, denounce that level of behavior, we ain't going nowhere. Go ahead. Sorry, dear, my brother.
Very good contribution. Thank you. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Brother David, this is Soldier.
Yes, Soldier.
Brother David, I listen to the topic what you're talking about men and women and men transforming themselves and all kind of things. Brother David, this is the biggest, most serious thing in the world right now. The secret society agenda, right? This is part of it. Beside the biological warfare, is everything to reduce Earth's population, and beside the biological warfare. This is one of the things where they must carry out, because Satan challenged God to destroy man and creation. You hear what I'm saying? So it's all kind of thing in medicine, down to the water we drink it. And people have to realize that the poor people of the earth have to come together, right, and create a spiritual revolution against modern day oppression, because it's a kind of like a 1% ruling the majority, and it's just for the majority to open their eye and come to the knowledge, get awakened, come to the knowledge of truth, and that the purpose of human existence and the origin of humanity is that in the truth we could redeem mankind. You hear what I'm saying? And Brother David, you see Islam like a coming all the meeting the other day, and I just watch. It was even telling your guys and them who does be there with you, right? You see the level of discipline that Islam carry. If we could establish that in the black community, right, we would have a transformation. But though it must be in line with the government of God, the new, I had to say, you see, Jesus Christ is the word which was made flesh and dwells amongst man. That word which was with God, which was supposed to be teaching Adam and Eve how to live, how to eat, how to drink. And people have to realize that. That is the only thing Islam itself. When Islam come into tune with that, I see Islam as the new world police. You see, black fail, white fail. Black is the original man, white is the firstborn of Adam. We're carrying that blessing to discern thing, to make out thing. Just make out thing faster than anybody else. Because they really have that blessing. Now, when you look in the reality of the world, you see that black people have the spiritual energy of man, music, and that connection with the terrestrial energies now, with nature. We have that. But you see the spirit of discernment, right? Like they was first access to that because God had done give Adam that already and them get that. But in the end of the day, you know, everybody had like if they have something to contribute to create the new world government. Right, but we have to understand the deception of Satan on the world and what he doing is deceiving man. He don't want to save nobody. I want the white people them to hear that too because them wouldn't be saved neither. Right? They're trying to see if they could make the rich people, you know, be the only people to survive in after with a nuclear holocaust. They make bunkers, they ask cause of bunkers, underground thing, all about to see if they could save themselves. But let me tell you, what destroying the earth is, you see that same homosexual activity, that is what destroying Mother Nature. Mother Nature just pick it up because we're breathing oxygen, right? That is like the spirit of God itself. We're breathing that oxygen and the trees recycling the carbon dioxide. You hear what I'm saying? And the Mother Nature actually knows what man doing is that would just shake up the earth, that would just create transformation upon the earth. Mother Nature is not going to rock back and let Satan take over she then, the earth and everything on it. And that's what Satan vowed to do. Men have to come in tune with that knowledge of truth. Otherwise we will remain in a spiritual captivity of the devil.
Thank you. You know, I'm going to compile this information a bit better, but just off the top of my head, almost every major series on television or on Netflix has a LGBTQI couple. In particular, shows that portray strong male characters. Probably one of the best superhero shows is The Flash. In The Flash, the chief of police, a man, has a husband. In Arrow, Green Arrow, the computer genius named Curtis, black man, he also has a husband. In Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I think is a very good show, the captain of the police department, black man, has a husband. Designated Survivor, again, young black man, computer genius, just like in Green Arrow. Designated Survivor, black man, he has a boyfriend. How to Get Away with Murder. Two young, brilliant lawyers. Men, both men. got married to each other. Scandal, starring Kerry Washington. The chief of staff for the President of the United States has a husband, man. House of Cards, the President of the United States, Frank Underwood, was bisexual. He had a wife, but he slept with his bodyguard, a man. Billions. So much to them. In fact, I'm trying now to think of one series that does not have a gay or lesbian married couple in it. All of that, it's insane. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, almost every single series of programs that you can think of on Netflix has a married couple. And thing is, they portray strong men of color. Most of these men are black men or Asian men who are in leadership positions. Look at the kind of position: President of the United States, Chief of Police, Head of Police Department, superhero, computer genius, computer wizard. And there's a clear overrepresentation. Now, of concern here is how values are changing so rapidly. And of course, we have to understand the human rights of everyone. But while we would protect and preserve the human rights of everyone, we also have to reconsider the human rights of ourselves. Because it's being twisted to the point where you become the guilty one for being in disagreement with a lifestyle. It's deep, beloved. It's really deep. All right, so do I have a call on the line?
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Oh, walaikum salam. My apologies.
Brother, you see all what they're talking about is homosexuality and all these things. That European culture. It's European culture. You understand? That black people imported. It's European culture, all in the cave and all this kind of rape and all sort of thing. And they're forcing you now to accept that, you understand? If you don't accept it, you understand? They sanction your country and all this sort of thing. European and all people don't understand that. That's why they put all this set of whatever they call it, DVDs, all this kind of all, it's European. And anyway, I don't want to go into it. This is African history, man. I don't want to go into that. No. What happened in Brother David? I don't know if you saw it, where they give back 26 pieces of the Benin bronze to, you can check it out to Nigeria. 26 pieces. And they say they have thousands all over, you understand, Europe, and they want them to give it back to Africa. All that the teeth, all that those with the cross around the neck and just up inside there and teeth, they want it back to Africa. Anyway, Brother David, I have something to say. I want to say in my 2 minutes there. Brother David, when I hear, you understand, I want to say something. I know you have those who wouldn't like what I'm saying. That is their business. It's the truth. With all that Inshon Ishmael had said about the UNC when they were in power, UNC before they leave, they gave Inshon Ishmael land. He ain't went back to me, he accepted it. When Mr. Manning was in power, he said, because the Jamaat helped him, he said that it is time to settle the issue of land with the Jamaat. This Prime Minister at present disagree with that. He said, I have no say in that. I don't know nothing about that. This Prime Minister is land, you understand, to the African people. When I went to renew my passport, I might be able to travel, but I still renew it. And they said, I have to pay for it. I have to commend Mr. Manning. When you go for your license, once you reach 60, you go to your license, and they say you have to pay. I have to commend Mr. Manning When you have to travel to Tobago by boat, and you don't have to pay, have to come in, Mr. Man, a man of wisdom. Those young women who came in to the hospital as pinkies and trained and became nursing assistants, all of them will thank Mr. Manning. When we see today, we have a black government and a black prime minister in control, and we see a young nurse, doctor rather, you understand, on the street because she was put out by an Indian, you understand, out of the medical service because of what she put on Facebook, what the experience that she experienced there. And another one who lied, you understand, and said that she got robbed, and she wasn't robbed. And he did a personal investigation to see the men and send in people might engage the guards and them and say they cancel all that money and not accept her back after 3 months. When we see that, you understand what is good. So Mr. Manning who said that Petro Singh have become Petro Singh, Petro Trin, Petro Singh. Mr. Manning who established NEDCO, established, you understand, all these things, all the UTT and all these places where Africans was complaining on the radio every day that they can't get into UWE here to do medicine. Mr. Manning established that. And there's a man, they don't like to hear him, you know. He always on the radio, they call him and leave it there. When he's speaking the truth, they don't want to hear that, you know. I'm not a member of PNM. I voted for PNM twice. Under Bate Pandey, when I saw discrimination and I think of my children, future, I supported the PNM in the local election. Another election I supported them in, you understand? Because I think of my children's future, you understand? As you go. But when I saw the way that they treated that man, and today to call his name, call Mr. Manning after the election, but I feel it in my soul as a non-member, as a human being, and a man who tried to do good, you understand, for the country and the African community, you understand. I've felt it in the bone, you understand. So when I hear them talking today, it has hurt me because I know where they're coming from, you understand. But Brother David, this is African History Month, and I want to hear people. I want to tell you, sister, from Bartari, I have something to jump for you. I couldn't do it yesterday, but I read history, you understand. Our history must be taught. This is the time. Imagine they had that thing on the TV yesterday morning. And what in history, African History Month, what is the first thing you think they could ask about that? Who led 300 men in the 1970 revolution? That's the first thing they can ask, you know. Mm-hmm. All our history. And who are they talking about? Rafik Shah. You understand? The men who led the Black Power revolution in 1970. That's the first thing we should ask about. We're lacking in history. And African women, I want to tell you something again, I don't repeat it. You are the mother of all race on this planet Earth, and the African man is the father of all race. Well, David, I went into a barber shop yesterday in Curab Sunday because my barber wasn't there. And when I walk in there, I met a young guy. And when I walk in that place, like I walk into Africa, all over the wall, everything African. You understand? And he was so conscious that we had a discussion, and he put on his phone and told our guy, listen to what this guy is saying here. It's consciousness, you understand? It's so much to say. But I want to talk to you too before I go. You talk about the roti and Laventille back road.
Oh yes, best in Trinidad without a doubt. Pinky's back road roti shop.
Well, let me tell you something. When you're going up Tagarigua, after that, there's an upholstery shop on the right hand side after the mosque. There's people living right there. Every time I pass, I see a line. What is selling here? One day I stop. One evening I stop. They start from about 7, Monday to Saturday. And when I walk in Saturday, you know that's so? Polori, African family, men making polori every night.
Yeah, I see people lining up outside there all the time.
It's polori. And before I go, that sign that you saw, what said, for decision.
You saw it? Where is it exactly?
I saw it last week, Saturday, I saw it.
It's in Tagarigua, right?
It's just before Crown Street.
In Tagarigua?
Yes, Tagarigua.
Yeah, that's
I said, Michael, for Crown Street.
Poor decision. They should get an award for the name of that business place.
Hear what happened there?
A bar named Poor Decisions, but P-O-U-R.
But you know why they put that Poor Decision? Maybe, I'm not sure. The owner of that bar killed there that I robbed me there.
At Poor Decisions?
Yeah, some years, about 3 or 4 years ago, that I robbed me there.
and the owner of the bar, and somebody of his people get killed right there.
Oh, no.
So I don't, but I see they open back again. So I don't know if that is why they use the word for decision.
Oh,
After
boy.
that, I don't know, but I have to tell you that. And last thing before I go, in this country, after the HGC, there are nobody else in this country who have built more homes for people than Lawrence Dupree and them, home developers. Nobody else. No, and all those, and the one who comes there and mash him up, the French Creole, push him through. How many homes are built for poor people? All of it back at Tagariga, all of Trin City, home developers build homes for people, populous country after the government. You understand? And this one comes and mash him up. You understand? Make sure you lick him up. Well, David, have a good day. Reach home safe. All African
right.
people.
Thank you. Wow. Caller, good morning. Okay. You can try calling again if you like. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Mr. Mohammed. Morning, Mr.
Good morning
Mohammed.
to
How are
you,
you?
sir. Fine, by Lord's grace.
Yeah. Well, good topic this morning. Good topic. The aim is to cool down the black man. Since the 60s, they try to demasculate the African man. When the African man was telling the black man to get up and stand up, the white elite and them was afraid of that. Because they know when a black man stand up, he's the most powerful man in the whole world. You understand what I'm saying? They killed Malcolm X. They killed Dr. Martin Luther King. Because these men was educating black people. And when you look in the Caribbean and in America, the aim is to feminize the African boys.
Oh, man, you're hitting the nail on the head. And I'm going to deal with this topic soon, maybe on Wednesday night.
Because when you look at shows today, you're not seeing a masculine young male again. All but the white man and masculine though. So that slavery still inside around the world.
Do you know what Leroy Clark called that?
What?
Leroy Clark, and I saw they did a tribute to him on television just yesterday or day before yesterday. Leroy Clark referred to that as the faggotization of black men.
Correct.
The faggotization of our men.
It had an episode on a TV series called Scandal.
Yeah. Well, I spoke about that. The chief of staff had a husband. The male chief of staff had a husband.
So the Kerry Washington, I think her name is Kerry Washington.
Yeah.
Yes. An African male was in love with her. And when he go to show his true love for her, she told him that in a technical way that he is weak and he cannot see about her. So in America now, they're putting the black woman against the black men.
Yes, that is true. Okay, that is true. But just to add balance in that conversation, the white man that she was with,
the president,
right, was the president, the president of the United States. So, and not only that, but not only was she like a mistress to him, she was actually in control of him. So just to add some credit to her there, you know. I'm not condoning it. But she was with the president of the United States and she was controlling him.
Because when you watch the sports now, black people just always dominate the sports. We all know that. Larry Doty Knight. From Jesse Owens, even to the Caribbean, we have
you say
from Jamaica. But when they started demonizing black woman as a man, look.
Oh, the runner from South Africa, remember her?
Yes, and then after now, they go to the tennis girl.
Venus, Venus, Serena Williams.
Then the media say she like a man, she make a child.
Yeah.
But given Bruce Jenner, who is a man.
Listen. I need to talk about him soon because you know the trouble that Dave Chappelle got into.
Yes.
For talking about that and Bruce Jenner. I mean, when you look at the rate at which LGBTQ rights have rapidly come to center stage and be protected by almost every Western country's constitution in comparison to civil rights, it's it says a whole lot. But thanks for calling, though. This is where I leave it for this morning. Remember, from tomorrow, back out again after a year and a half. Nation of Islam public Sunday lectures at the Kwame Ture Center from 11 o'clock. I'll be hosting tomorrow, inshallah. And then we have African Expo number 10 coming up on Saturday, November 27th. So much happening. But catch me live on Facebook on the Black Agenda Project page on Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. Stay tuned to the Street 919 FM as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
The music